Good morning, class. Today we are going to review our steps for solving math word problems. Step one is to read and understand the question and to summarize it in your own words. So let's look at an example. Max has 10 jelly beans, Sarah has 13 jelly beans, and Sammy has 17 jelly beans. How many more jelly beans does Sammy have than Sarah? So after reading this word problem, I need to make sure that I understand what the question is asking. And I see that it is asking me to determine how many more jelly beans Sammy has than Sarah has. My next step two is to make a plan. I'm going to highlight any keywords, numbers, or phrases, and I'm also going to mark through any unneeded information. When I look at the word problem, I see that in the question it says, how many more jelly beans does Sammy have than Sarah? Going back to the key words that we've been going over in class, I remember that how many more means to subtract. So I know that I'm going to be subtracting in this word problem. I also see that it gives me a little bit of extra information that I don't need. It tells me that Max has 10 jelly beans, but my question only asks me how many more jelly beans Sammy has than Sarah. So I'm going to actually take my pen and mark through the part that says Max has 10 jelly beans because I know I'm not going to use that information to solve my word problem. I'm also going to highlight the numbers I'm going to use in the word problem. I know Sarah has 13 jelly beans, so that's important information that I'm going to use, and Sammy has 17 jelly beans. So I know now for my plan to solve the problem, I'm going to be subtracting because it says how many more, and I'm going to be using the numbers 17 and 13 because the question just asks how many more jelly beans does Sammy have than Sarah. Step three is to solve the problem. It's important when solving the problem that you use a good strategy. That strategy might be to draw a picture, it could be to extend a pattern, it could even be to write an equation. So for this story problem, I'm going to write an equation. I know that I'm subtracting, so I'm going to write my equation 17 minus 13, and when I solve that, I get 4. So Sammy has 4 more jelly beans than Sarah. For step 4, I'm going to check my work. It's always important to go back and check your work. And you might want to even use a different strategy when checking your work. So when I go back to the story problem, this time I decided to draw a picture to check my work. I drew out 17 stars for my jelly beans for Sammy and 13 stars for my jelly beans for Sarah. And you see that the extra stars I put in red. That's because Sammy has 4 more jelly beans than Sarah does. So I have checked my work, and both strategies I used to solve the equation left me with the same answer. So to review our steps for solving word problems, step 1 is to read and understand the problem. Step 2 is to make a plan. Step 3 is to solve the problem. And step 4 is to check your work.